before I began working with Joel, I thought that what I was struggling with was basic weight loss. I cared about my health as well, and including my mental health, but I really thought that, what I'm wanting in the short term is just to look a little more like what I did when I was in my 20s. And I tried Noom and just felt like everything was coming at me too fast. And so I was by the time I started working with Joel, I was kind of a little demoralized and felt like I didn't really have the agency to change things. Once I started working with Joel, though, my goals shifted, which was really interesting. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I was worried that the lack of care that I was able to give to myself and the kind of lack of fitness and maybe the health consequences of that as well would both be bad in terms of my role as a role model for my daughter. But also, I just started caring intensely about living as long as I can, because I don't want to miss being with, observing, and appreciating my daughter as she grows older. I think I had a sense that the weight gain was paired with not just, a reduction in my physical health and well-being, but also my mental health. And so I had a sense, though I wasn't totally confident, but I had a sense that the weight loss would have to follow some shift in mindset, and that shift in mindset would be good for me. And that's exactly what happened. If I hadn't decided to make a change and kind of really focus my effort and attention, I think I would have continued to gradually gain weight, yes, but more importantly, I think I would have been in a kind of bad headspace. Especially the last few years have been very challenging. I'm recording this at the time in the middle of the COVID pandemic. And I think that my own self-image, as it, slowly deteriorated, would have also taken down with it my perception of others and the world. And I think I could have been in a really negative place. And of course, also less physically healthy. So Joel's program helped me get where I wanted to be by helping me experiment and then find just a few things that I know don't feel like I'm depriving myself and yet are very effective. And what I mean by very effective, by the way, is that I will, if I follow them most days, I will lose 1.5 pounds or something a week. And so for me, it's going to be different for each person. But for me, we greatly increased protein, especially especially at breakfast. And so that, it turns out I just like eating protein anyways. And also it just made it so that I was less hungry and therefore less interested in kind of snacking during the rest of the day. Another thing was weightlifting, which I had never really taken seriously before. I had done it a little bit, but was under this misperception that weightlifting is about like building big muscles, and aesthetically that's not necessarily what I wanted. And I found through this program that actually no, it's a really good form of just basic fitness and helps with weight loss. And then the third thing that for me really clicked was cutting out alcohol. So those 3 things, it's not going to be the same 3 or 4 things for each person. But that's sort of the point, is that Joel helped me figure out what those are. And then the mental shift that I think is worth commenting on was realizing that without without it sort of intending it, I had let work seep into all parts of my day. And so in order to make time for the things for self-care, I had to start constraining the hours in which I worked. And that wound up making me happier, not just because I could meet these kind of, fitness and health goals, but just because I regained some time for myself. And so that too was a kind of unexpected benefit, but I think it was maybe an important part for why I was able to succeed this time.